It's time for AEW Double or Nothing predictions. I'm Luke Owen, DAD, and I'm joined by Oliver Davis.
You want me to say hi?
Yeah.
Hey.
It's usually what happens.
Hey, AEW fans. I love AEW.
Of course you do. I haven't said that. For a show, the show that aired on this past Wednesday that you and I reviewed yesterday, a lot of people were quite down on that show.
Oh, were they?
But not Oliver Davis.
People were down on that show.
Yeah, I think so. When I was checking the old social feeds.
It's an echo chamber.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. My apologies.
I thought it wasn't the hottest go-home show, but I'm into quite a lot of the feuds. And looking at this card, I'm concerned, as always, how long it's going to go.
It's 9 matches.
Yeah, but some of those matches are enormous matches.
Yeah. Some of them we don't know are going to be added to the, what do they call it? The buy-in.
Yeah. So I think, spoiler for Rampage tonight, one of them already has. It's the Hardyz match, but I think that's on a running order.
It is, yeah. It's on a running order. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 9 matches that are announced for this card, which is 6 less than All In last year. So,
oh my God, that many?
Yeah, well, there's 15 matches All In last year.
Jesus.
So that, I think, is a good step in the right direction. Here's a fun...
He's halved or nothing.
Here's a fun fact for you, though. There are less women matches on this card than there are at Crown Jewel, Night of Champions, which is the Saudi show.
Forefront of change. So I think
that was a nice fun fact for you. But we are going to go through...
what do you want? They've got to get a whole show. There's going to be a whole new show for women.
For Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through our predictions for Double or Nothing. And if you fancy yourselves as a bit of prediction experts, you can challenge us in prediction warfare by heading on over to Wrestle League.
Wrestle League, where... I am right now. Yep, Wrestle League. It's on WrestleTalk.com, and this is what it looks like. I'm scrolling through all the matches. You get to make your picks going into the show, where your accumulative points will be added up to the whole season. This one runs from, it was Backlash all the way through to SummerSlam, I believe.
Indeed, yes. So it's a long old time for this one. So Ollie hasn't done his Wrestle League predictions yet. So not only is he going to be doing his podcast predictions, he's going to be doing his Wrestle League predictions at the same time. So you can see what it all looks like.
What's so good about it is, well, there's loads of good things. Let's click on leaderboard here. See where I'm at overall. Of course, there's only been one show, I think, with Backlash. Here is the leaderboard. Some people have got 12. A lot of people tied in first place because over time the thing separates. Okay, I'm just going to do a search.
Yeah.
For little old Ollie. No, that's not me. No.
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 No. No. No.
No.
No.
Yay! Oh, I'm second.
You with 11 points.
That's not bad. I'm 1 away from being first right now.
You are indeed, yeah.
Awesome.
So, there you go. That is Wrestle League. We're going to be updating that throughout this podcast record. And we're going to kick things off with the unsanctioned match between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho.
Let me find it on my Wrestle League.
How are you feeling about this one?
Well, I thought going in, it was good. It had a good, real blood feud element because Adam Cole wants revenge for how Chris Jericho orchestrated somebody else beating up his girlfriend. But all this time I've been thinking, it feels like there needs to be an ECW legend in someone's corner.
Someone who lives in Las Vegas.
I know. Someone who we all define Las Vegas by. And then then on the Go Home show, Sabu was added to this unsanctioned match for no reason at all.
So we discussed this on the AEW podcast yesterday, but I'm also still unsure because Cole introduced him as he's in my corner. However, he's also credited as the special guest enforcer for the match. So that says to me that Adam Cole's going into this match with quite an unfair advantage because the guy in his corner is the special guest enforcer for the match.
Yeah, and surely this is an unsanctioned match. I love unsanctioned matches if they're done right because it really gives a new form of presentation for that feud. It's a feud so violent that AEW cannot sanction it. doesn't really play consistently with the rest of the card where people have been stabbed in the faces by screwdrivers.
Well, they're having anarchy in the arena.
Surely that should also be unsanctioned.
Well, no, because that's legalized violence.
It's okay. It's wrestling. But I imagine then Jericho and Cole have to agree on the terms of things. So then by the rules of this little match, I don't know how Sabu got made the special guest enforcer.
Because Cole needs someone in his corner.
Well, then zoom out, nor do I understand why Sabu's there at all. Surely like Kyle O'Reilly, I know he's injured or going through some things, he could just stand there.
Probably, yeah.
Bobby Fish.
Where's the lie?
Where's the lie?
But who do you think is winning? Oh, it's a tough one. Well, actually, I don't think it is as tough. Do you mind if I put mine out there? Jericho.
Yeah.
I think Jericho gets the win here. If nothing, because I don't think this is going to be a short feud. I think there's going to be more to this. Jericho took the loss to Roddy on Dynamite a couple of weeks ago. He took a lot of losses in the Ricky Starks feud as well. So I think Jericho's probably going to look at this and be like, let me just get the one win here. I put over Roddy and actually really, although Roddy did pin me, it was Adam Cole that put me away. So this is almost like I get the win here. We do a return match at, well, actually, I mean, they'll probably do like a tag at Forbidden Door or something.
A JAS versus Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Chaos.
There you go. Could be that.
Trent's mum's in there.
Well, maybe it'll be Adam Cole with some Bullet Club people as well, because of his old connections to the group, and could do some fun around that. And then you do the return match, probably on like a very special Dynamite or something. I do think that Adam Cole is going to be going into a title program with MJF at some point, whether that's an all-out thing or a full gear thing. But I think here Jericho gets the win in the first instance.
It's unsanctioned, which means it doesn't technically count on the record, which is AEW's sort of sleight of hand way of excusing slightly odd booking. What wasn't the Orange Cassidy?
I suppose it is still unsanctioned. No, sorry.
Yeah, and Lights Out wouldn't count either. Was it an unsanctioned match that Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole
Lights
had?
Out.
Yeah, so again, that didn't count towards Cole's overall record. I was leaning towards Jericho as well for those reasons. Jericho hasn't won in a while. Jericho feuds are long. They're usually long because he wins the first one. Yeah, I'm going to go Jericho too.
Yeah.
Do you think Jericho, I've ticked it. I've ticked Jericho on the Masterful Wrestle League. Sign up at WrestleTalk.com now, /Wrestle League.
There's a link to it in the video description or the podcast description down below.
Do you think Jericho will have a unsanctioned ECW original surprise of his own to go against Sabu?
Rob Van Dam is also local to Vegas.
Jerry Lynn is in the backstage team.
That's very true. So is Dean. He's got some connections to ECW as well. Taz is on commentary. They've got their history as well.
Chuck a Tommy Dreamer in there, and all of a sudden, we're trying to do another ECW team revival.
It's about time.
I mean, what's Collision got going for it otherwise? If it's not the ECW show.
But this is the thing you got to remember is that every 5 to 10 years, we do an ECW revival, and that time has come around again. TNA had theirs a little while back, so now it's time for the ECW revival to kick around again.
Do you think Scott D'Amore's over in Impact going, oh, damn it, that was our summer plan?
Because they have got Dreamer and Bully Ray as well. Yeah. So up next, it is that 6-man tag that you referred to earlier. Ethan Page and The Guns versus the Hardys. If the Hardys win, Matt will own Ethan Page's contract. So it's more contract-based stuff.
I actually forgot that Jeff Hardy returned.
I mean, if you don't watch Rampage, you probably would have forgotten that he is around,
It's such a classic AEW Tony move where he tries to have his cake and eat it in terms of his Jeff Hardy returning. That's a bit controversial because of all his addiction issues that he's had and arrests. And then it's like, I'm also not going to back my decision and not really showcase him on Dynamite.
Or is it a case of, hey, look, Rampage needs a big guy, needs a big star, and I'm putting Jeff on that show.
Could be treading water until the Collision revamp and you have the tag team on there.
And then FTR's next feud, once they get through the actual stars.
I think the Hardy Party win, especially because I don't want the firm to exist in any way.
I'm going in the opposite direction.
Okay.
I'm going Ethan Page here, and the reason for that is that I want this to end. And if the Hardys win, it must continue. And I think it's time that we drew a line under this and we move Ethan Page and the Ass Boys and the Hardys onto other things. Up next for the TBS Championship, it is Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie. This time, it's obviously the rematch from their match they had on Dynamite a few weeks back. But this time, Road to Valhalla is allowed, so Taya can use her finish, which is the reason why, kayfabe theory-wise, she didn't win the first one, because she went to hit Road to Valhalla, and the referee went, just a reminder, you can't do that. And she went, Adoy, you're right, I can't. And then she lost.
Well, she went Adoy and then stood there for about 10 seconds.
She had to process, be like,
yeah.
Sorry, what was the rule again? It was, do I have any other moves that I can do? Before you know it, you've been rolled up.
Yeah. I thought that was a good match, though. And a good idea for the finish, just slightly bad timing on the execution. I think they'll have a really fun match.
Oh, I think this will be really good, yeah.
And I think championship-wise, TBS title-wise, this is the best feud Jade Cargill's had since she won it. But I still think Jade's going to retain. I was thinking about Jade with the TBS title, Wardlow with the TNT title, and then the other long reign, which is Cassidy with the international title. And I'm like, I'm only into one of these. I'm on the edge of my seat every week when Cassidy defends that belt, but I haven't believed anyone's going to beat Jade forever. I haven't cared who has the TNT title for a long time. So yeah, hopefully they do something substantial after this.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with Jade after this. I think in my Wrestle League predictions, I went with Taya. Just as
really?
It
could happen.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. I was like, because I was looking at Jade being like, well, I don't know what you do next. The alternative is you wait for Chris Statlander to return.
Yeah.
But then, am I really that enthused about Statlander going for the belt? I don't know.
I think they've been gifted something with Willow Nightingale getting the New Japan Strong title instead of Monet because of the injury.
Yeah. And we all thought that, I say we all thought, I really thought that they were going to be pushing Willow into this position that she can be the one to dethrone Jade.
Well, they could do that to how she gets the rematch. I'll also put my Strong title on the line.
That's true, yeah. Which actually be fun for Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
I'll go with Jade. Up next, we have for the AEW Women's Championship, Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm, the rematch from Full Gear, which was an awesome match. I absolutely loved it. And not just because it was the reason why I won that championship back in November, which I've since lost. But I really, really liked it. I'm going with Hayter on this one. Hayter retention. Putting the belt back on Storm.
I think the Outcast needs something. Do you know a little Rampage spoiler-y?
I do not.
So just if you don't want to know what happens on that show, the 250,000 of you that watch, look away now.
That tune in for the different time slots Rampage.
Yes.
Let's not bury the show too much.
I was doing 18 to 49. Jamie Hayter gets beaten up backstage. She's already been injured. There's this ongoing thing, which is partly based in truth, that she's not medically cleared to compete. So either she doesn't actually wrestle the match, and that'd be funny. Toni Storm gets another interim, or they're telling the Cody Rhodes story and Brock Lesnar, where she's going to compete anyway. That's how you protect her in the loss. Toni Storm gets to be a proper heel champion with the Outcasts behind her for a couple of months. Hayter wins it back in Wembley.
Oh, that's good. I like that. And do you know what the reason why I hadn't considered that is because I'd had it in my head. Oh, you do Hayter Saraya. That's the match you do at Wembley.
Yeah.
But you're right, actually. That also works if you do it as Hayter and Storm. And like that's the end of the trilogy.
There's a lot of Australians in London.
The Commonwealth.
Yeah. Mostly in Clapham Common.
Is that so?
Yeah. So they will also root hard, I think, for Toni Storm. But yeah,
drinking their Fosters with their cork hats.
I'm gonna go Toni Storm there.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, speaking of title defenses, we got Orange Cassidy defending the AEW International Championship in a 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal. Announced for the Battle Royal thus far are Aaron Solo, Powerhouse Hobbs, QT Marshall, and Ricky Starks, with 16 other names TBD. The Lucha Bros, Best Friends,
Dark Order,
House of Black.
That would be a shame.
They're not on the card, so maybe they'll be part of it as well. You know, put Buddy Matthews in there. Maybe not all three of them, but a Buddy Matthews.
I think Carl Fletcher. I think, Cassidy has beaten, he's been on a streak of 23 successful title retentions, I think.
He's got almost as many title retentions as Roman Reigns does.
Yeah. And there's 21 people in this. So I think it'd be really fun to just fill it up with all the people he's beaten.
That is fun, yeah.
And it's like everyone's scrambling for him. They kind of end up eliminating each other. But I will write this in now because after one of the greatest title runs in AEW history and one of the most engaging weekly TV stories this year, Cassidy is not losing this title in a multi-man, losing the title by being thrown over the top rope.
Yeah, the story here is that he is going to be beaten for this title. I think I had this prediction a couple of weeks back when we were doing Dynamites, but I wonder if they'll give him like the Cody Rhodes, Gunther Royal Rumble finales, where he's going up against this big brute of a dude, which is why I think like a Brody King would be so great in there.
Well, Hobbs is in there.
Yeah, it's true. Hobbs could do this. I think Brody's got the more menacing, the can he survive this? I'm really just thinking of that Darby Allin like little mini feud that they had, like where you had the hangman spot over the top. So yeah, I've also gone with Orange Cassidy on this one because I think you're right. I do not think he's losing this in a battle royal.
So I've heard more names. How many names have you?
I've got Cassidy, Solo, Powerhouse Hobbs, QT Marshall, and Ricky Starks. That's what Wikipedia tells me.
Yeah, so I've heard names like Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland as well.
When are they ever going to have that singles match? Christmas Day. I mean, that's what it might be.
Well, I think if that happens, I think there is a chance that Swerve wins it.
Oh, Swerve wins the belt.
Swerve wins it. It's such a evil heel way to get the belt on him. And then you can do a sort of Cassidy, Swerve, Keith Lee feud. Dad, Chuck Pack in there.
I was about to say Cassidy and Pack being the final two, I think would also be really nice. That's quite poetic because that's who he won the belt from. Yeah,
Pac, and they're past
forever rivals. Yeah,
looking forward to that.
Up next for the TNT Championship in a ladder match, it is Christian Cage going up against the defending champion Wardlow.
You want to go first?
Got Christian Cage.
Because?
I think the money is in Wardlow winning the belt back. No, I just think like it's... I mean, really, realistically, I do think it is Wardlow winning here, but I sort of picked it for the memes that I think that Wardlow he wins that belt, then he loses it again just so he can win it back from someone else.
He's not an engaging champion.
No. And plus, I think I'd actually rather see Christian with the belt.
Yeah, it'd be really fun. Him doing his chicken S word. Right now, Wardlow doesn't fight anyone apart from one guy that he's feuding with when he's got the belt. Whereas you look at Cassidy, who's gotten over so well because he accepts all comers as a babyface champion.
Do you know what would be a really fun gimmick for Christian? There's like, oh yeah, you can fight for my TNT championship if you could beat Luchasaurus.
Yeah, exactly.
So Luchasaurus then just squashed the person in front of him and just be like, oh, sorry. I mean, you had your shot, but you missed.
That is just the TV writes itself. That's a month of TV there.
And then Wardlow can come back, beat Luchasaurus, and then he can beat Christian for the belt.
Now we're talking. Yes, I'm going to tick Christian Cage too.
Interesting.
I think there's more creative mileage in it. Wardlow just doesn't hold the championship well currently.
Up next for the AEW Tag Team Championships, it is FTR defending against Team TNA of Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, with Mark Briscoe as the other special guest referee on this show.
Okay, before you say anything, just watch my screen. Just watch my screen, what I'm going to do here.
For our audio podcast listeners there.
It's 100% FTR.
Ollie hovered over clicking Jarrett and Lethal.
Did you believe at any point?
There was part of me that thought, maybe he's got this brilliant idea in his mind that Team TNA are going to win. I mean, you're right, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is going to be an FTR retention here. But I wonder if they'll do you remember when they fake won the belts from the Acclaimed?
Yeah.
I wonder if they will just because if there's one thing that Jarrett loves, it's Memphis.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they will do like a Memphis style spot with that, where you think that they have won the tag belts and then Mark reverses the decision and as FTR Shadow Machine get the win.
I'm 100% behind that because it is a special guest referee match. You can do that spot in a different way, and that's where Jeff excels. Not booking a whole promotion that way, but one match on the card.
Yeah, that's middle of
really
the card.
fun. Really fun.
I think this is going to be a very, very fun match regardless anyway, because if there's one thing that FTR like, it's Southern style wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably have a really good time with this. I think they're going to do some really emotional stuff with Mark in there as well. We've got Karen Jarrett as a bit of an X factor on the outside. I'm going to break this down with the X factors and the taglines. I suppose I should do for this. So yeah, I actually think this is going to be a really fun match.
I think it's going to be really funny, and then it's going to get a bit emotional with the Briscoes, with Mark Briscoe, with FTR, and with Jay Lethal.
Can you imagine Jeff Jarrett being the only one who walks down with a black armband that says Jay written on it? And like
being the only one.
Yeah, so like everyone else is just, we're here to wrestle the match. Because I think we might be leading to a Team TNA split as well. But Jarrett really, I was like, look, but I've got my armband here for Jay.
Yeah.
Really healing it up.
Would he go that low? Yeah, of course he would.
He used to throw out taco shells when performing in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Get that heat. I really hope Dixie Carter has a cameo.
I do too. I really do too.
Mm-hmm.
I said for a while she should be part of the act.
No. Not part of the act. Just like
Why are you trying to hold this back?
We just got Karen, man. Just like in that she's in the crowd, she slaps Dax. Mark's like, it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to this. It's different to everything else.
Well, speaking of it being different to everything else, up next, Anarchy in the Arena. The Blackpool Combat Club of Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta versus the Elite of Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, and Hangman Snake Plissken.
Cannot wait.
This is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think this match is going to be real good.
Yeah. I just want to see what they're going to do after the Bucks held Claudio's leg. Ooh, it got me going at the end.
But who do you think is winning?
It's tough.
I mean, again, if you want to break it down with the X factors, what's Don Callis doing in this match?
Yeah, and Takeshita.
Takeshita is another one. Like, I wonder if Don brings out Takeshita. Like, it looks like I don't know, like how he did in that segment where like he ran down and then ran off scared and brought out Takeshita.
Yeah.
He was like, "What do you want me to do?" And then Takeshita ran down to make the save for the Elite, for Kenny at the very least. I think you can do something around that as well. And whose side is Takeshita on? Does he join Blackpool Combat Club officially? Does he side with the Elite? I actually think Blackpool Combat Club win, because I think we are building to blood and guts. And so kind of like I was saying with the Jericho Cole feud, you give the baddies the win here to give more fuel to the babyface fire for that rematch in Blood and Guts. Particularly if you are going to do a Takeshita, there's rumors of Kota Ibushi as well to sort of like even this out so it'd be 5-on-5. I'm going with the Combat Club here, and I do think that Callis is going to be the actual difference maker for the finish.
I'm so excited for this match that quite rarely I can't even look beyond my excitement. So usually I'm like, oh, where's this going to go? Well, that's good if it goes that way. This is one of those rare instances because I think it's been told so well and so credibly with so many twists and turns. And the elite side of the story, God, that's been going for over 5 years. And everyone's so over. They've got such a good grasp on their characters that I really just want to see the match.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. If I have to kind of project forward, I agree with you. I think you do Anarchy in the Arena, and then the proper way to book it is to then spin off into a few various mini side quest feuds. You can have the Bucks versus Claudio and Yuta, which was somewhat set up on the Go Home show.
We don't know how this is going to affect Forbidden Door. Even All In. Like, my bold prediction for All In is that's where you do Kenny Danielson too.
Yeah. But I really want Kenny Ospreay, but who knows if.
Well, I think that's a Forbidden. Oh yeah, he's injured. I was about to say I think that's Forbidden Door is when you do the rematch.
There's so much potential here, and then once you've done all that, blood and guts at the end, as opposed to blood and guts first. I am also going to go for the Blackpool Combat Club, but if it's the Elite, I also think that's great, and you can still carry on the feud.
Indeed. Right. Well, the last match to talk about, it is our main event, we think, which is MJF versus Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry for the AEW World Championship. You've clicked MJF?
Yes, I've clicked MJF to retain. Have you seen the odds?
Is it like... I mean, I don't really know. I can't predict how odds work, but are they heavily sided to MJF?
They are heavily in MJF's favor.
It's because no one else stands a chance of winning this title.
No.
But
I must applaud AEW for about 2 months of the 3 months of this build. I think they've done a good story.
I think this has been a fine story that I'm not actually I'm not sitting here being like, oh, it's so predictable that MJF's going to win, because I have enjoyed the weeks of TV that we've had building up to this for the most part. And I think it's going to be an excellent match as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is a good defense for MJF. And there's also raising the stock of the others. What this is all about now is how you then continue that momentum for Sammy, Darby, and Jungle Boy. For me, particularly Darby.
Yeah, well, he's got a match against Mount Everest next year that he's got to build up to. I really don't mind this being a weak title match, and I hate to say that because it's Jungle Boy, it's Darby, it's Sammy.
Do you think this is actually the main event?
I think it should be the main event. I think that really gives the aim is to get over the other three pillars.
True.
And if they do not main event, it does undermine that somewhat.
Highlights the mid-cardness of it all.
But also, I won't envy following that Anarchy in the Arena match.
You'll have a couple of buffer matches between that. I actually think you do like Anarchy in the Arena mid of the show. And then, I would use Team TNA and FTR as a buffer match. Probably the TBS Championship would be one of those buffer matches as well to kind of like... Because I think the Team TNA one's going to bring something so different to it. And then, no one really reacts to TBS title matches. So that brings the crowd down before you go into that main event.
They can recharge. I think it's a really well-structured card, though, because you've got so many exciting big star matches that having what would be considered the Royal Rumble level title defense of old, the Brock Lesnar versus Bob Holly, something that doesn't have to sell the pay-per-view. I think, they've done a really good job. But I think it's without a doubt MJF is going to win. But that predictability doesn't mean I'm not behind the booking idea or the story. I think they've done very well, largely.
Last thing for us to do is you need to pick your Joker.
So, Mike, the Joker pick means you get double points on...
Your pick, if it's correct, because you get 1 point for a correct pick, but you get 2 points if it's a championship prediction. So, for example, if Christian Cage does win the TNT title, you and I would earn 2 points. However, you put your Joker, you double those points. So, if you put it on a singles match, you get 2 points. If you put it on a title match and you get it right, you get 4 points. However, if you're wrong, you lose those points. So if we put our Jokers on Christian Cage and then Christian Cage did not win the TNT title, we would lose 4 points.
It's double or worse. So I'm putting my Joker pick on MJF. title match, and I think it's very likely.
Yeah, I have done the same thing as well. But that is all we've got time for on this edition of the WrestleTalk Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a very busy weekend for us here at the WrestleTalk Podcast. Join us tomorrow because we'll be doing live reactions to Night of Champions live from the Long Arm Pub and Brewery in Shoreditch in London. Tickets are available if you want to click those links in the video description down below. And then on Sunday, we'll be doing a review of that. Myself and Des will be doing a review of it. Then later on that evening, Adam Blompier and Tempest will be doing live reactions to Double or Nothing. Then the following day on the Monday, Ollie Davis will be back to review Double or Nothing with the Professor Dan Layton.
Splendid. Subscribe, enable
notifications to know when those videos are going live. But until then, I've been Luke Owen at DAD. That has been Ollie Davis. Jam that jam.